National Association of Youth and Students for Peace, Pilipinas. A global family of young people building a world of peace with true love.
If this is your first time visiting on our channel, make sure to hit subscribe and please turn on the notification bell to be notified for the upcoming videos.
Youth, an adventure full of hope and passion. Endless possibilities to achieve our dreams. Where your dreams begin, Youth and Students for Peace. Join us on this adventure. In the 20th century, the age of material civilization, science and technology's swift advancement allowed extreme individualism to run rampant. Pornography, violence, free sex, and drugs dismantled the family. Youth were thrust into a cold and dark world. In the 21st century, we need a balanced approach. More public-mindedness, less destruction, and division. In 2015, the UN set 17 Sustainable Development Goals and is calling for global participation. What then is the key to harmonious and sustainable development? In 1976, Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate from Bangladesh, developed the concept of microfinance. Microfinance has produced sustainable results. The concept has spread to 140 nations globally to alleviate poverty by providing loans to small social units and teaching collective responsibility. Well before this, Dr. Sun Myung Moon and Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon applied this concept in their quest for world peace. They advocated the smallest unit, the family, is where world peace and happiness begins. The family is where we first learn to live for the sake of others. We are calling this concept micro-peace.
Peace begins in the family, specifically in the relationship of parents loving their children unconditionally and children developing the heart of filial love toward their parents. Brought into society, this principle of living for others creates good character in citizens, patriots in nations, and saints in the world. But it all begins in the family.
Greatest peace sprouting from the smallest unit, one human family under God. In 2005, Father and Mother Moon launched UPF with a world tour emphasizing a new vision of peace. Night after night, city after city, visiting one nation per day, they taught that the family is not only the school of love, it is also the cornerstone of world peace. Beginning with the establishment of the Collegiate Association for the Research of the Principle in 1966. The many institutions they have founded convey a vision of peace and teach universal principles that strengthen marriage and the family.
When I was young, I took the Pure Love Pledge and it changed my life. From that day onwards, I was able to build my character and moral values. For the happiness and future of my students, I am continuing teaching Pure Love education at my school.
Father and Mother Moon have established more than 50 educational institutions around the world. MOUs have been signed and character education has been taught in thousands of schools on all continents and in all cultural spheres, East and West. After Father Moon passed away, Mother Moon carried out his intentions and established the Wonno Pyongne Scholarship Foundation, which supports the education of youth and students globally. The Sanok Peace Prize honors and supports heroes who are creating a culture of sustainable peace and are role models for future generations to look back on. On February 23, 2017, Mother Moon, the first international chairwoman of the Women's Federation of World Peace, launched Youth and Students for Peace.
위하여 사는 참 사랑을 실천하는 나눠줘도 더 부족함을 느끼고 더 나눠주고 싶고 이런 마음 자세 이런 환경을 만들어 가야 하는 너희들 앞에 책임이 있다.
With the support of Women's Federation for World Peace and the Universal Peace Federation, YSP is a rapidly growing global network of game changers.
เยาวชนและนักเรียนแห่งสันติภาพคือความหวังและอนาคตของโลกโดยผ่านความรักที่บริสุทธิ์และความกตัญญูจะเป็นจุดเริ่มต้นแห่งความสุขและสันติภาพโลก
एउटा असल परिवार समाज समृद्ध राष्ट्र निर्माणको लागि युवा विद्यार्थी अवस्थाबाट नै सकारात्मक विचार उच्च भलाइ साँचो प्रेमको अभ्यास गर्न आवश्यक छ
À travers la Fédération des jeunes et des étudiants pour la paix, je travaillerai afin d'accomplir de grands rêves.
Youth and Students for Peace, YSP, builds on the past and opens doors of hope for the young generation through academics, service, sports, international exchanges, universal character education, environmental responsibility, among other things. In Asia, Africa, Korea, Japan, the US, Central and South America, Europe and Oceania, YSP is becoming a wave of goodness sweeping the world today. The idea of one family under God is taking root and growing in the hearts of people, young and old alike. Be a part of this global awakening. Let's create a new future working together. We can do it.
Hello everyone! Welcome to IAYSP Pilipinas live streaming. Hello Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And probably, we have also viewers from different countries. Kamusta po? Hello and annyeonghaseyo. Our today's topic is very interesting. But before we start, please let us know where are you watching from. Comment down below or chat it down. Again, we are happy to welcome you all. Last March 11 to 13, we had our IAYSP Youth Leaders Assembly with the theme Shaping Sustainable Future. This is the very first assembly we held after the pandemic, in which 40 IAYSP youth leaders gathered representing from different chapters of the Philippines. In Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, we have also joined by our distinguished speakers, guests, and leaders. To look back on what happened last assembly, please watch this.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Julius Malicdem for such a wonderful lecture. Then the lecture made me realize so many things, and actually the lecture that he have given is really crucial in sustaining every YSP chapter because it is really a great challenge for YSP chapters or even in other organizations, not just youth organizations, but all of the organizations to sustain the
yung nagiging natin para oil natin to continue because we know the truth.
I am so proud to share with you the best practices of the Misamis Occidental.
Greetings of peace, everyone. I am Isjan P. Mutia, the Vice President for External Affairs of IUYSP Misamis Occidental Chapter. Day one for me was really great because it's my first time to attend the national engagement, especially here in Youth Leaders Assembly. It's really overwhelming to see various youth leaders around the Philippines, and I am really happy and grateful to see that they're here for a greater cause, and that is to help the nation in attaining peace and other advocacies we have here in IUYSP.
Hi, IUYSP Pilipinas. Thank you so much for organizing this assembly. There are so much things to learn, especially on transformational leadership, our core values of responsibility, integrity, service, and empathy. Thank you so much for empowering us. Again, this is Malicdem from IUYSP.
My name is Florence. I'm from the Solomon Island. Yes, so it's my pleasure to be here in Philippines and also participate in this youth assembly. That is so grateful and happy and enjoy with brothers and sisters. Thank you so much.
Wow! Every time I look back on that assembly, I feel amazed with our determined youth leader who traveled from all the way from Visayas, Mindanao, and some farther part of Luzon. They are the very reason why our IAYSP Leaders Assembly became successful. I know all of you are very excited, so what are we waiting for? Let's dig in now. To give us the topic of the role and importance of youth and students in shaping a sustainable future is a very supportive leader and dynamic lecturer, Dr. Julius Malicdem. Dr. Julius Malicdem is presently the Director of Universal Peace Federation in Southeast Asia. In addition, he is also the Chairman of Board of Trustees of the International Peace Leadership College or IPLC, and the immediate past chairman of the Professors World Peace Academy, Philippines, and Youth and Students for Peace, Filipinas. Without further ado, let us all give a sounding round of applause our Dr. Julius Malicdem.
Thank you very much, Nikki. Nag-miss ko yung virtual clock. Okay, so let me see. Once again, welcome to all our youth leaders, all peacemakers from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Pagpakalang mo na sa sarili. It's good to see you and welcome all of you. All of you are survivors. At least you could say they're very healthy after the pandemic, and this becomes more meaningful, seeing each other once again face to face. Is that okay? Aju? Most of you are my Zoom colleagues. We see each other in the Zoom, but here we are. No need to worry about your virtual background. No need to worry whether you're muted or not. You can speak anytime. So, walang kagandahan, man, face to face. So, anyway, this is really great opportunity for us to be together in this YSP Youth Leaders Assembly. The first mission given to me is to give this lecture, and the challenge always is whether I can finish this in the given time given to me. Okay, so let me begin. Title: The Role and Importance of Youth and Students in Shaping a Sustainable Future. Title pa lang, mabigat na, no? Shaping, ayan, marami sa inyo gusto ng shaping. Tinitignan nyo palagi ang anong shape. Okay pa ba? Ang mga realize, kailangan ko nang mag-diet. Wala akong tinatapakan. Pero tinitignan ko lang, gano'n. So anyway, yeah, I'm so happy for this opportunity. So the sharing that I will be giving this afternoon, i-divide natin into these three letters, Y, S, P. Una, we need to answer why. Kaya YSP, okay? And then S, sustainability, and P, I will share with you some important principles for sustainability. Are you ready? Okay lang? Ngayon. Walang exam mamaya, pero okay lang mag-take notes. Okay? Ayan. So let's start with the big question mark. Why? Why are you here? Yun ang tanong. Bakit kayo nandito? What made you decide to come here? Narinig ko may registration fee, di ba? Yeah. But you're still here. So this is something that should be important to you. Why YSP Youth Leaders Assembly now? We also have to answer the question, why? Shaping sustainable future. Why do we need to shape a sustainable future? Actually, this brings us to our very beautiful YSP vision. You are here because we want to be empowered. Yan ang narinig ko because we had a meeting with the organizers, your leaders. We want to be empowered. Once again, are you losing power? Yan ang tanong. Dalawang robot na ba kayo? So be empowered with what? I don't need to go far. Just look at the powerful vision of YSP. A global family of young people building a world of peace with true love. Napakaganda. Doon pa lang, we don't need to go very far to look for something that will empower us, but just looking at that vision of YSP, excited ka na, wow, ang ganda pag na-accomplish natin yun. Even at least in my community, even at least in our chapter, in our province, how beautiful it will be if that will be accomplished in our nation. YSP Pilipinas. And then we can influence other nations, other chapters of YSP in the world. How beautiful. And also, we are here because, first and foremost, we need to reaffirm who you are, your identity. And this brings us to your mission. Anong mission ba yun? Bakit kayo nagpapakapagod? Why you are here, why you are volunteering, why you are sacrificing your precious time, talents, ano pa? Treasure. Kasi may registration fee, di ba? Treasure. Why? Because you are owning this mission of YSP. What is that? To advance world peace by empowering youth and students to become global citizens through character education and peace projects supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Napakaganda. We have to reaffirm yung ginagawa natin. all the works that you're doing locally or in the national chapter, in the national level, all of this are connecting towards this wonderful mission. And also you are here because you want to strengthen. Yan. Para kanino kayo bumabangon? Mickey, para saan? Dahil sa kape. Of course, alam ko yan. We have to strengthen not as an individual, but together as YSP. And that brings us to very powerful values. YSP values. The value of YSP is RISE. R, responsibility. I, integrity. S, service. E, empathy. In short, you are here for extra rice. Kailangan mo ng extra rice. Na-miss nyo ng mga extra rice, no? Ngayon, balik na ulit yung mga restaurant, no? Ayan. Balik na yung masal, no? Ayan. Yeah, you're here to strengthen each other. Learn from each other. Encourage the new chapters. Build on the foundation of the successful chapters and those best practices from different chapters, other chapters who are pioneering can also inherit. That is the purpose why you are here in this 3 days assembly. Aju? Balik tayo dun sa extra rice. Gusto ko yung dati ngayon. Mabilis na akong mabusog ngayon eh. So these are your values. I call this the 4 pillars of IAYSP. Responsibility, integrity, service, empathy. Putting yourself in the other's shoes. Feeling what the other feels, empathy. And this is the foundation of what a strong organization, what a strong YSP should be. But this is not my main topic now. I would like to talk about sustainability. But sustainability also has 4 pillars. Mayroon ding 4 pillars yan. The 4 pillars of sustainability are social, human, economic, and environmental. So these are actually the 4 pillars of sustainability. Social, human, economic, and environmental. But in this presentation, I would like to focus on something that is internal and most important. Kumbaga, ito yung common denominator of the other pillars. The social, economic, and environmental. So the common denominator is human sustainability. Human sustainability. This is like, this is like the common factor. So when we think of social, we think of people. These are like the 3 P's. People, prosperity or profit, and planet. 3 P's. But the common factor for all of this to be sustained is what? The human factor. Kaya yun yung pag-aaralan natin ngayon. This presentation and the presentation of Dr. Kittle will dwell more on the importance of the human factor when it comes to sustainability. Are we still okay? But there's another point that I would like to share with you. Another sustainability. And that is, how do you sustain happiness? All of you wants to become happy, right? Familiar kayo dun kasi sa RIL pala. Wala naman sa inyong pagkagising sa umaga ay magangarap na sana maging malungkot kayo sa araw na yun. Walang ganun, no? Everybody wants to become happy. Wherever you are, with your friends, with your family, when you're alone. When it comes to sustainability of happiness, there is this actually book written by Dr. Catherine O'Brien. The title of this book is Lessons in SH. Akala ko senior high school. Lessons in Sustainable Happiness. And in that book, sinabi niya doon, sustainable happiness is happiness that, take note, contributes to without exploiting other people, the environment, or future generations. Alam niyo, many Filipinos mahilig tayo sa only. Yes or no? Only call. Ayan. Only data. Only rice. Balik tayo ulit sa rice, no? Bakit pumupunta tayo ulit palagi sa rice? Well, this is where very simple happiness, especially for us Filipinos, we are happy people. Do you know that we are one of the, happiest people in the world? Kahit walang makain, kahit walang pera, kahit dumaanan ng bagyo, happy pa rin. Ang babaw kasi natin ngayon. So this is who we are. We like only happiness. Now the question is, how do you sustain happiness? Kasi okay, you can be happy in a day or in a week, but how about next month? How about next year? How about 5 years from now, 10 years from now? So that's why this is now a question of how to sustain happiness, the sustainability of happiness. So what is the key in sustaining happiness? I would like to share with you from Father Moon, our founder. Ganda kasi, sabi niya doon, God gives happiness to those who can give it to others. Very, very simple strategy of being happy. You become happy by giving happiness to others. Ajun? Madaling sabihin, pero mahirap gawin. But this is true. No? In order for happiness to be sustained, first, it must come from God. And, hindi lang yan. It does not only come from God, but you also give it to others. Are you? In short, you become what? Instruments of God to spread happiness. And I'm speaking to you as YSP leaders, and I know many of you have already experienced sharing happiness to others in many, many ways. Yes or no? Anong feeling? Aside from pagod, pag nag-volunteer kayo when you're helping others, what is the feeling? Ang hirap i-explain, no? And then you just start telling other people, ikaw din mag-volunteer ka rin para ma-experience mo. Kasi ang hirap explain, but you can feel it to your bones, to your veins. This is the happiness that can be sustained. Now, I would like to share with you, this is actually called the tragedy of the commons. The tragedy of the commons. This concept originated in an essay which was written long time ago, 1833, by a British economist, Sir William Forster Lloyd. And then, he used the hypothetical example of the effects of unregulated grazing of, cows. Yung kumakain sa isang common na grazing area, tapos kumakain yung mga baka doon. Actually, ang tawag nila doon sa United Kingdom, yung lugar na yun, they call it commons. Kasi nga lahat pwedeng maglagay ng baka doon. No regulations. So that's why they call that place to where they bring the cows, commons. Now that concept was further developed into some kind of an economic theory. And this was published actually in an essay, in an article by Garrett Hardin in 1968. And from that time on, nakilala na ito na the tragedy of the commons. Now, why I'm showing you this? Because this will give you a very clear example about sustainability. Kasi when we talk about sustainability, napakalawak yan. But when it comes to the human factor, babalik tayo doon sa anong factor na yun. Why human factor is so important in sustainable development. Okay? So in this short video, we will understand what is the key concern and critical issue when it comes to sustainability. So I hope you can listen well. Short lang ito, around 4 minutes.
Imagine as a thought experiment that you live in a small village and depend on the local fish pond for food. You share the pond with 3 other villagers. The pond starts off with a dozen fish, and the fish reproduce. For every 2 fish, there will be 1 baby added each night. So, in order to maximize your supply of food, how many fish should you catch each day? Take a moment to think about it. Assume baby fish grow to full size immediately, and that the pond begins at full capacity, and ignore factors like the sex of the fish you catch. The answer? 1. And it's not just you. The best way to maximize every villager's food supply is for each fisherman to take just 1 fish each day. Here's how the math works. If each villager takes 1 fish, there will be 8 fish left overnight. Each pair of fish produces 1 baby, and the next day the pond will be fully restocked with 12 fish. If anyone takes more than 1, the number of reproductive pairs drops, and the population won't be able to bounce back. Eventually, the fish in the lake will be gone, leaving all 4 villagers to starve. This fish pond is just one example of a classic problem called the tragedy of the commons. The phenomenon was first described in a pamphlet by economist William Forster Lloyd in 1833 in a discussion of the overgrazing of cattle on village common areas. More than 100 years later, ecologist Garrett Hardin revived the concept to describe what happens when many individuals all share a limited resource, like grazing land, fishing areas, living space, even clean air. Hardin argued that these situations pit short-term self-interest against the common good, and they end badly for everyone, resulting in overgrazing, overfishing, overpopulation, pollution, and other social and environmental problems. The key feature of a tragedy of the commons is that it provides an opportunity for an individual to benefit him or herself while spreading out any negative effects across the larger population. To see what that means, let's revisit our fish pond. Each individual fisherman is motivated to take as many fish as he can for himself. Meanwhile, any decline in fish reproduction is shared by the entire village. Anxious to avoid losing out to his neighbors, a fisherman will conclude that it's in his best interest to take an extra fish, or 2, or 3. Unfortunately, this is the same conclusion reached by the other fishermen, and that's the tragedy. Optimizing for the self in the short term isn't optimal for anyone in the long term. That's a simplified example, but the tragedy of the commons plays out in the more complex systems of real life too. The overuse of antibiotics has led to short-term gains in livestock production and in treating common illnesses. But it's also resulted in the evolution of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which threaten the entire population. A coal-fired power plant produces cheap electricity for its customers and profits for its owners. These local benefits are helpful in the short term. But pollution from mining and burning coal is spread across the entire atmosphere and sticks around for thousands of years. There are other examples too. Littering, water shortages, deforestation, traffic jams, even the purchase of bottled water. But human civilization has proven it's capable of doing something remarkable. We form social contracts, we make communal agreements, we elect governments, and we pass laws. All this to save our collective selves from our own individual impulses. It isn't easy, and we certainly don't get it right nearly all of the time. But humans, at our best, have shown that we can solve these problems, and we can continue to do so if we remember Hardin's lesson. When the tragedy of the commons applies, what's good for all of us is good for each of us. TED-Ed is a nonprofit. If you value our work, please consider supporting it on patreon.com/TEDEd.
Thank you. So let's learn from this short video. So the challenges to sustainability. Number 1, from that video, we learn self-interest against the common good. When you put self-interest, private, above the public good, then that is one of the key issues when it comes to sustainability. Secondly, putting myself first above others is also a big problem. Yung walang pakialam, basta ako, okay ako, I don't care about others. Sabi doon, probably in the short term, it may look like okay, but in the long run, it will definitely go back to you. Another key challenge to sustainability, of course, greed and selfishness. So when we think about this, all of this that we learn in the tragedy of the commons, ito lahat ang nagkakaroon nagpo-produce ng mga problema. And now we are trying to resolve all those problems one by one. That's why, for example, the United Nations came out with the SDGs, trying to resolve all of these problems that came out because of that tragedy of the commons. Yung ako muna, wala akong pakialam sa iba. More deadly than coronavirus is what? Selfish virus. Maalala niyo nung nagkaubusan ng toilet paper? You still remember when all the grocery stores were, empty kasi maraming nag-hoard, bumili ng sobra-sobra at nagkaubusan. Nagkaroon ng panic buying, yung mga may pera. Yung walang pera, panic lang. Walang buying. Walang pera. Sabi niyo, selfishness kills the human more than the virus, which is true. So when we think of this, ito yung problema. We call it the LOL syndrome. Hindi laugh out loud. Lack of love. Feeling mo na, kawawa naman ako. Buti pa sila. Right? That kind of mentality. Actually, this emanates from self-centeredness. Palagi kang nakatingin sa sarili mo. You always think that the others are well off and better than your situation. We already have many examples of that. So this is the common problem. Not only our young people, every one of us. The feeling of lack of love, self-centeredness. So if this is the disease, we need an antidote. Parang vaccine, no? What is that antidote? Hulaan niyo. LFSO, living for the sake of others. Now, many of you are already sold to this principle of living for the sake of others. Because this is who you are now, especially as youth volunteers, as youth leaders, as leaders of YSP. But how about other people? Do they care about living for the sake of others? When it comes to the human factor of sustainability, hindi ito mawawala. Our founder, Father Moon, this is the very principle. This is the guiding philosophy and principle of Father and Mother Moon. Many religious leaders and thinkers are talking about altruism or living for the sake of others, right? Now, when you educate, for example, young people, maybe you will experience this because you are now expanding your membership. You are trying to reach out to new contacts of YSP. And when you reach out to them, and then you tell them, why not you join YSP, and then we can practice living for the sake of others. Question is, how do you convince them to live for the sake of others? Sabi nila, ano yan? Para lang yan sa mga politicians or mga leader type, hindi kami yan. So how do you convince them? Because many people nowadays are just thinking of themselves. So that's the reality. So if we continue like this, our society actually will decline. If young people have this kind of mentality, the me culture and me mentality, eventually our society, our nation will decline. So question, there's a question. How do you convince people to live for the sake of others? Masaya? Ganun? How do you convince them? Yan. If you can answer this question, why you should live for the sake of others, then probably you can convince them. Actually, because of time, mahaba sana to eh. I-workshop pa natin to eh. Pero, to make the long story short, why do you need to live for the sake of others? For one simple reason. Because love and happiness can only come from others. Meaning to say, your object partner. Object partner, whether it's your friend, your loved ones, the people you are serving, your family, your parents, your younger brothers and sisters, they are your object partners. And they are the ones who make you happy. Love comes only from object partners. Because you cannot produce, take note, you cannot produce love and happiness alone. Subukan mo, tawa kang mag-isa, mag-mat jokes ka sa sarili mo. Who's there ka rin, sasagot ka rin, who's there? This is actually a very simple reason. Happiness and love comes from others. Adyo? So true love is actually, ito another attribute ito ng true love. Seeking to give first. Kasi kung lahat maghihintayan kung sinong magbibigay, it will end up na walang magbibigay. Somebody has to initiate. So let's understand the principle of true love in the context of why I need to give first. Okay? So this is actually very beautiful. Father Ron, sabi niya, a love that seeks to give and forget, to give, forget, and give again, that seeks to give, forget, and when it can no longer give, grieves and sheds tears. Wow! Pag binabasa natin yan, sinong naaalala niyo? Your parents. Father or your mother. No? Sometimes it's difficult to appreciate them until you yourself become parents. And then ma-feel mo, ganito pala kahirap maging nanay. Ganito pala kahirap maging tatay. So, true love is giving and giving and giving and completely forgetting what you have given. Huwag niyong ilista. Okay? Huwag niyong ilista. And then you shed tears when you cannot give anymore. And then, ang feeling mo kasi, I want to give more. This is the nature of true love. Some of you, nakatulong ka sa, let's say, 10 families. Feeling mo, sana 20 families or 30 families. Next time, I want to serve more. Yes or no? No, hindi ka after you have served, let's say, 10 people, hindi ka magsisisi at sasabihin mo, next time, 5 na lang. Most of the time, you will feel what I have done is not enough. Isn't it? Because this is the nature of true love. This is the nature, when you think of parents sacrifice for their children, that is the very nature of true love. So when we apply this kind of nature of true love, giving first, I need to give first, initiate. Apply that in your family. Apply that in your community. Apply that in your province, in the nation, in the world. How beautiful. Right? Sabi nila, ito na yung kingdom of heaven. Competition kung sino ang mas nagmamahal sa kapwa. That kind of heavenly competition. And in fact, this is a very important quality of a leader. What is that? Sacrificial heart, parental heart. Aju? So, actually this one, I learned this from Dr. Keaton. When we think about true love, we always think about giving first. and then receive later. Actually, unconditional means you do not even expect receiving anything in return. Di ba ganun naman yan, no? That is true love. However, when we talk about, let's say, unprincipled or false love, you take first and then give later. Or even forget to give. Diba ganun naman yan, eh? Already as I've said, this is the problem. The culture of individualism, the culture of selfishness. Ako muna. Ako lang. No? So this is the problem. So as a youth leader, we need to reflect. What type of leader am I? Am I a type of leader who gives first, or I want to take first? Of course, now I'm speaking to YSP officers. I'm sure many of you would say, I am that person who wants to give first. So the principle of true love always tries to initiate first rather than receiving. So if we apply this principle everywhere, this is actually sustainable. There is a book. Actually, I heard this first time from the daughter of Dr. Kittle, Rosina. She was talking about this book which was published and written by Adam Grant. The title of this book is Give and Take. You know, when we talk about success in life, we know that hard work, passion, luck, and talent play a major role in determining how successful you will become in your life, right? But did you know that there is another factor for success? Ang tawag nila doon, your reciprocity style. Ano ba ang style mo? What is your reciprocity style? This is also very important, aside from the other factors of talents, your passion, your luck, and hard work. What is your reciprocity style? Reciprocity style. The author, Adam Grant, in this book, meron siyang tinawag na tatlong tendencies. We call it behavioral tendencies. And it divided into three groups. The groups of takers, the groups of watchers, and the groups of givers. Now, tanungin ko kayo, are you a giver, or a taker, or a matcher? Pag sinabing giver, of course, ikaw yung tao na gustong magbigay ng magbigay. If you're a taker style, ikaw naman yung gustong mag-receive lang. Matcher means, pag naka-receive ka, saka ka lang magbibigay. Parang pinapantalan mo lang. Whatever blessing, something that you receive, and then you want to also give. We call that matcher. And then in that book, there is a study which was made. Itong kinasify ng mga bata after they became older. And then in this study, tinignan who among them became successful, more successful in life. Can you guess? Is it the giver, the matcher, or the taker? Which group? Giver. You're correct. Sino ang less successful? Taker? Actually, based on that study, it's also the giver. So both those who become successful in life and those who did not really succeed in life belongs to that category or group which are called givers. Now the question is, bakit? Actually, mahaba pa yung kwento doon. But to make the long story short, what made the difference, why some givers become successful and why some givers were less successful? Because some of those givers, they gave up somewhere. They started off as givers, and then finally, ayaw na nila. Ibig sabihin, cannot sustain giving. Now, when we reflect in ourselves, probably you might be a giver now. How about 10 years from now? Pag ikaw na yung mahihirapan. If you are the one who is already needing help, would you still be a giver? So again, if we go back to this study, which I think is so powerful, so important, you have to sustain giving, and then you will likely become more successful in life. Aju? Amazing study, right? So, balik tayo sa question. Then, why is giving first? Why? Why is giving first? Bakit kaya? No? Why do we need to emphasize giving first? Kasi kung lahat maghihintayan na, then it will just be stalemate. Nobody will initiate, nobody will start. But this is something that is based on reality. Why is giving first? Because in true love, the output is greater than the input. Output is greater than input. Does this make sense? Sa iba sa inyo nag-aaral ng engineering, kahit yung mga simple machines, when you apply something, normally yung ina-apply mo na energy is more than the output that you gain. And yes, imanjikan mo yan ng like amplifiers or accelerators. But if it's just a very simple machine, normally, yung input mo palaging mas malaki kaysa sa output. But here, brothers and sisters, we're not talking about machines. In the law of dynamics, yes, or in the law of nature, yes, input is what? Greater than output. That's correct. However, when we talk about true love, in the dynamics of true love, in the laws of love, input is less than the output. Now, let me explain more with these words from Father Moon. Sabi dito, energy is exhausted as it is consumed. Okay? Para tayo nasa, ano ngayon? Thermodynamics class or physics class. Sabi ni Father Moon, alam niyo si Father Moon, nag-aral siya ng electrical engineering. That's why sometimes when he explained things, he used these terminologies sa engineering. Sabi niya, when doing work, energy is consumed, isn't it so? Take a motor as an example. The input and output of a motor is different. When work is done, energy is consumed, so the output is always smaller. The input is always greater than the output. Pero may continuation pa yan. Sabi niya, there is one thing in all creation that can ignore the law of dynamics. Hindi nag-a-apply yung law of dynamics. Sabi ni Father Moon, that is love. When there is an input of 10 energy, it comes out with a plus. When really loving a partner, the energy of love does not reduce but remains forever. Therefore, eternal life for human beings is only possible in the law of love. When there's no love, energy is consumed. So anything that you do out of love, you reap the fruits more than what you have invested. Aju? So anything that you do, when you do it out of love, mas malaki ang balik sa'yo. So do not regret. If after you give and give and give and people do not thank you or recognize you, don't worry. No? Even no one repays you or recognize you, I'm sure universe and heaven will definitely return it to you. Aju? Law of universe yan. Universe or heaven will definitely return it to you. So principle of sustainability, balik tayo. Living for others is sustainable. Selfishness is not sustainable. Very simple, di ba? No? Very simple. Living for others is sustainable because you do it based on love. Selfishness or greed is not sustainable. So sustainability equals God's goodness and love. In the book of Psalms, mag-share ako about the Bible. Book of Psalms, chapter 107, verse 1. Sabi doon, give thanks to the Lord for He is good. His love endures forever. His love endures forever. Ibig sabihin, sustainable. Hindi mauubos ang pag-ibig ng Panginoon. Adyo? Adyo ba yun? Nais na okay. Naku, bilisan ko na. How do you sustain people who live for the sake of others? Yun ang tanong. Kasi baka nga, you can be classified doon sa giver, but along the way, nag-give up. So how do you sustain people who live for the sake of others? This is from the book of Dr. Miles Monroe, Maximizing Your Potential. Actually, ilang beses ko nang sinashare doon ito kahit sa Carperang YSP. Sabi niya doon, one of life's great tragedies is that the majority of the world's population is composed of individuals who have negotiated an agreement with mediocrity, signed a contract with the average, and pledged allegiance to the ordinary. They have resolved never to be more than the society has made them or do more than what is expected. What a tragedy of destiny. Ibig sabihin nito, hanggang doon na lang. Ayaw maging above average. Hanggang doon lang. No? You don't want to become above normal. Mahirap naman yan, di ba? Abnormal kasi yun. Pag dinugtong mo, above normal. But this is the tragedy now. Many people, basta kami okay lang. Hindi na kami kailangan mag-volunteer or mag-service project. Have you encountered this kind of people? Maraming ganun, ha? Okay naman yan, kayo dyan, masaya kayo dyan, kami. We don't need that. It's not cool. Sa kanila, no? Serving others. So how do you multiply this kind of leaders? Leaders who live for the sake of others. So the question is, how do you multiply leaders? How do leaders multiply? Actually, palagi kong ginagamit itong analogy na ito. How do cells multiply? Kanina physics yung subject natin, puntang tayo ngayon sa biology. Cells multiply by means of replication. Replication. No, mitosis. Gagawa siya ng isa pang cell na kamukha niya. Exactly, carbon copy kung ano siya. So that means multiplying myself. So how do you multiply leaders? It starts from one leader. And then multiplying itself to another leader. Ganun lang yun. So replication, we follow the same. However, very important, only life can give life, right? So how can you convince them how powerful YSP is, the vision and the mission of YSP, pag ikaw mismo hindi ka sold sa ginagawa natin? Right? Only life can give life. Only, fire can make fire. Something like that. No? Only life can give life. So leadership, no choice. When you're a leader, you multiply. Do you think so? Isa yan sa mga most important quality ng isang leader to produce more leaders. So leadership is multiplication. However, not only multiplication. Why? Because you can also multiply. If you are a bad leader, you also multiply bad leaders. So how do you replicate good leaders' DNA and avoid damaging DNA? This is another topic for 1 hour. But I will share it in 5 minutes. Over time na yun, no? Transformational leadership. You heard about this before, right? But I would like to simplify. There are so many articles and so many stories and so many written articles about transformational leadership. But I would like to make it simple. Balik lang tayo doon sa akin. This is what I can control. You cannot transform others, probably, but you can transform yourselves. Do you agree? Diba? Can you change others? Maybe you can influence them, but change still comes from them. Yes or no? But this one, I can control. I can change myself. I can transform myself. So transformational leadership means, tignan ko muna ang sarili ko. Look at the mirror. What kind of leader am I? And then, based on that, that is the starting point of transforming others. Nelson Mandela, he said the first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never, take note, you can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. Kahit ang ganda-ganda ng vision natin, ng organization. But it reflects on us, our officers, our members. What are we doing? So first, let's show from us. Transform yourself. Number one, ingredient of transformational leader. But when we talk about true transformation, it always starts from within. Brother, si Kuya Ronan, after he became YSP coordinator in Bicol, gumawa po ba si Kuya Ronan? Yes. Transformation, no? It may not reflect physically. Pero nakikita, hindi yan nakikita physically, but it can be felt. Yes or no? Mafe-feel nila. Mukhang gagaling nyo naman. Now, when you meet some local government leaders, barangay leaders, and then they were so inspired about your ideas, about what you're doing in your locality, then sabi nila, ang gagaling nyo naman. Sana lahat ng youth leaders ganyan. Ayan, di ba? Because they can feel something, they can really, sila mismo na-feel nila. Aju, palakpakan mo sa Romulo. Why this becomes so powerful? Because it comes from your heart. Hindi ka naman sinabihan, sige na, officer ka na, and then napilitan ka lang, no? Kasi feeling mo siguro hindi ka nag-agree ka agad, but that night, hindi ka makatulog, and then you started, like thinking, yeah, I can do that. So it touches your heart. So it starts from that. So transformation starts from there. Always it starts and emanates from the heart, and based on that heart, you want to practice it. Yun na yung true love. So the heart is the core of the person. Heart is like the spring, the source. And true love, ito na yung practice, which is already the flowing water. So the heart is the one that motivates you to live for the sake of others. Kumbaga, lifestyle mo na yan. Wherever you are, whether you are in YSP or maybe few years from now, maybe you're not in YSP anymore, pero naging lifestyle mo na yan. To live for the sake of others. It will remain with you always. So the heart, it comes from the heart. True transformation comes from the heart. So number one, transform yourself first. And then, let's go to number two. Be motivated by your vision. Not only that, multiplies owners of shared vision. That is vision. Siguro yung chapter namin ng YSP, maliit pa lang, kakaunti pa lang kami. Pero, ano ang vision mo? 3 years from now. Ganun ka ba? Siguro, kuting ka lang ngayon. Cute. But someday, we will roar like a lion. Have you? Someday, your YSP chapter will become the most recognized organization of the youth that really serves the nation and the people. Have you? So vision starts from there. Sabi nga, no? Without vision for the future, there is no power in the present. Totoo yan. No? Sabi nga, di ba, yung sinabi ko kanina, para kanino ka bumabangon. That motivates you. When you wake up in the morning, tama, ito ang gusto namin mangyari. Then you start working hard. Vision, the power of the vision. Sabi ko dito, what would be worse than being born blind? To have sight without vision. Sabi yan ni Helen Keller. She herself being blind. What would be worse than being born blind? To have sight without vision. So, what's the difference between vision and imagination? Kasi parang pareho lang, no? Nag-imagine ka, sana ganun. But what's the difference? The key difference between vision and imagination. Taking action. Taking action. Imagination, okay lang yan. Libre yan. Mag-imagine ka lang na mag-imagine. Okay? No limit. But vision, this is the one which will give you the impulse to take action and make that vision become reality. Aju? So that's the difference. So number 3, transformative leader takes initiative and you are willing to pay the price. Siyempre, hard work. You are willing to pay the price. You are willing to sacrifice for the sake of that vision. Now, this is an axis showing, this is very important in transformative leadership. Kasi ito yung mga problema. Compromises, past thinking, lack of vision, inaction. And all of this, kahit saan ka pumunta, this spells mediocrity. Mediocrity means hanggang dito na lang kami. Ayaw ko na. Hindi na kami mag-develop. No mediocrity, okay na yan. Yung feeling na, okay na yan. Okay na yan. No challenge. Hindi mo challenge ang sarili mo na mag-develop at mag-improve. So this transformational leadership, palaging yan ang nilalabanan natin. Compromise, past thinking, ginawa na natin yan before, wala. No? Lack of vision, inaction. Dapat erase natin yan. Have you heard about the law of atrophy? Simple way. Law of atrophy means what we don't use, we'll lose. If God gave you talent, you don't use, you lose that talent. When potential remains unreleased, it is suffocated, it is buried, and lost forever. Sayang. Parang yung parable of the talents. You still remember that one? Nabigyan siya ng talent or treasure, pero binaon niya sa lupa. Binawi sa kanya ng Panginoon. Dahil sayang, di ba? Ibigay ko na lang sa iba. If God gave you talent of leadership, if God gave you talent of hard work, skills, dealing with people, and then influencing people, then use that for the good of God and humanity. Ito na, pa-conclusion na tayo. Sabi ko kanina, walang quiz. May quiz pala. Something for us to ponder upon. Okay. Bring out 1/4 sheet of paper. Hindi, joke lang. Well, this is a quiz. Totoo, quiz talaga to. Pero isipin nyo lang. Isipin nyo lang. Okay? I'll just go quickly with this. Name the 5 wealthiest people in the world. You don't have to say, just, okay? Second, name the last 5 winners of the Miss Universe contest. 3, name 10 people who have won the Nobel or Pulitzer Prize. Number 4, name the last half-dozen Academy Award winners for Best Actor or Best Actress. How did you do? 0. Pero naman, pero konti lang, no? Okay. Ito one. The point is, none of us remember the headliners of yesterday. These are no second-rate achievers. They are the best in their fields. Yes or no? Sikat na sikat yan. Nasa headline sila. But the applause dies, awards tarnish, achievements are forgotten. Oh, kasi na-0 kayo kanina. I'll give you one more chance. Ito pala, accolades and certificates are buried with their owners. Sakit, no? Ito, next chance para pumasa naman. Here's another quiz. Number 1, list 5 teachers who aided your journey through school. Naku, naalala ko yung grade 1 teacher ko. Napalo ako nun eh. Kasi uso pa yung stick noon, di ba? Oh. Bawal mo yan, no? Oh. Number 2, name 4 friends who have helped you through a difficult time. Number 3, name 5 people who have brought your life closer to God. Number 4, list 5 people who have made you feel appreciated and special. Number 5, list 5 people you enjoy spending time with. Number 6, name half a dozen heroes whose stories have inspired you. Easier, right? Siguro pag nagsulat kayo, ang dami nyo yan. It's easier. Now, what we can learn from this? Oops. Ayan. This is the lesson. The people who make a difference in your life are not the ones with the most credentials, with the most money, or the most awards. They are the ones that care. They are the ones that made a positive impact in your life. Adrian? Wow. So our goal, my dear young brothers and sisters, become a person of goodness. Hindi my goodness, ha? Become a person of goodness who can make a difference in the lives of others. My conclusion about the ripple effect. Did you experience throwing a stone on the pan or on the water, right? It creates ripples around where drop the stone or the pebble. We call that the ripple effect. Ever wonder that, for example, a 3 centimeters rock, when you throw it on a still water, on a pond, gaano kaya kalayo? There is a formula, pero ibang subject yun. Siguro mga engineering doon sa pag-aaralan nyo yan, how far sa water surface, gaano kalayo mag-travel. Because you will be using wavelength, all this, yung gravity ng impact, the diameter of the stones. Anyway, to make the long story short, kahit na napakaliit lang yung bato, it will travel hundreds of meters, thousands of meters away. This is the ripple effect. So, ibig sabihin nito, when we apply that on what you are doing now, it may look like simple. It may look like, for example, when you do a service project, it may look like nothing compared to the bigger problems of the world. But definitely, it will create ripples. In the sense that some people will be inspired with what you did. And they want to do it also, right? This is the amazing principle of ripple effect. Just a very short video. Panoorin natin to.
May I have this?
No.
Why don't you get something special for Grandpa? I'm sorry. Can I return the cake, please?
Sure, yes. I want the cake, please. I won't ask for anything else.
Next time, okay? When we can afford it?
Last time you said that.
You don't want this? I'll take it back. Hey. Hello, this is for you.
No, we cannot accept it.
Would you please?
There's no reason for you to buy the cake for us.
Well, when I was 7, my mother wanted to buy me a cake.
Mommy, I want this one.
But at the counter, we didn't have enough.
Can we get something else?
It's my birthday today. Can I choose my own cake, please?
I'm sorry.
Then, there's this man. I've never met him before.
Beautiful, right? It turned out, the one who gave, yung unang-unang nagbigay, siya rin yung bumalik sa kanya. And then what he wrote, instead of writing his address or phone, he wrote these words: a small act of kindness can create an endless ripple. Aju, malay nyo, the kindness that you're doing now as YSP leaders and officers, kung hindi man sa'yo, babalik sa mga anak mo, sa iyong mga apo someday, right? Aju? So, with this, let the YSP continue to lead the youth to become agents of positive change, to build a sustainable future for all. Sabi nga ni Ban Ki-moon, there is no plan B because there is no planet B. We only got one chance. Aju? So thank you very much. Mabuhay ang YSP Pilipinas. Thank you very much.
Wow, indeed, that is a wonderful lecture discussing the role and importance of youth in sustainable future. For my takeaway, one of the challenges to sustainable development or sustainability is the self-interest against the common good. This is my takeaway, but how about you? What is your takeaway in the wonderful lecture of our Dr. Julius Malicdem? You can comment down or chat it down below. Again,
writing his address or phone, he wrote these words: a small act of kindness can create an endless ripple. Aju, malay nyo, the kindness that you're doing now as YSP leaders and officers, kung hindi man sa'yo, babalik sa mga anak mo, sa iyong mga apo someday, right? Aju? So, with this, let the YSP continue to lead the youth to become agents of positive change, to build a sustainable future for all. Sabi nga ni Ban Ki-moon, there is no plan B because there is no planet B. We only got one chance. Aju? So thank you very much. Mabuhay ang YSP Pilipinas. Thank you very much.
wow, indeed, that is a wonderful lecture discussing the role and importance of youth in sustainable future. For my takeaway, one of the challenges to sustainable development or sustainability is the self-interest against the common good. This is my takeaway, but how about you? What is your takeaway in the wonderful lecture of our Dr. Julius Malicdem? You can comment down or chat it down below. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Julius, for always supporting IAYSP Pilipinas in educating our youth leaders. Again, let's give a round of applause our Dr. Julius Malicdem. So this time we will have our announcement. Number 1, for those who haven't make it today, maybe some of your classmates or friends because of their conflict schedule, don't worry because this coming Thursday, April 7, we will again live this in our IAYSP Pilipinas official Facebook page. So save the date now, April 7, Thursday. And second, don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel and click the notification bell. Why? Because starting this time, every week our YouTube channel or the IAYSP Pilipinas YouTube channel will conduct the live streaming. More interesting topics and videos are coming and waiting for you. Again, this is Miss Ella May Perez, your Membership and Training Head of IAYSP Pilipinas. Thank you so much and see you again next time.
Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe. You can also turn on the notification bell to be notified for the upcoming videos. Join us for more adventures.